Can you just give us an example of how accessible Jesus was? Is there anything you remember specifically in the life of Jesus that inspires you to be that accessible?
Well, when I was starting our church here in Kyiv, Ukraine, for the first 4 years, I struggled to have Europeans come, and the Europeans would not like to come to listen to a black person because they kind of despise us a little bit, and because of prejudice, people think here that a black man cannot teach them. So not too many were willing, not just in Ukraine, all over the world. Not too many people want to follow a black person. But when God spoke to me, I was crying one day. I was really praying and really very concerned that, God gave me a promise that you will have a mega church, and nobody was coming. So I was praying, and one day God showed me a passage in Mark where it's a very simple passage that hardly could anybody notice. And it says, the ordinary people, the simple people, the poor people, and in some translations it says the down and out people, the outcast people felt welcomed by Jesus. So ordinary people feel welcome around him. People who are simple feel welcome around him. Then there are other passages where it says that the disciples lied on the bosom of Jesus. So disciples of Jesus who were so close to him and they were so free with him that they could actually put their head on his shoulder or on his shirt, on his chest. And that is incredible. That how many apostles today will allow their assistant pastors or their followers to just come and lie on them, on their palm, on their pap, on their whatever thigh, and on their bosom. Not too many people will be willing to do that. And so that's an example of how accessible Jesus was. And many times we see other examples whereby, people were so close to Jesus. When Jesus does something, people someone like Peter will always say, can I copy you? Can I follow you? Can I do the same thing? He was always around him. Even when he was walking on water, he would say, oh, can I also walk on water? Can I come to you? And so many other examples when the disciples were very zealous about the status of Jesus, that Jesus is such a big guy, such a big person. And then there were also moms who wanted to bring their kids to him. And the children, that's like being familiarized with a big man. And when the kids begin to run and to, climb on you, that kind of becomes too familiarized, or familiarity too much. So, and the disciple decided to stop the children from coming to hang on Jesus. But then he rebuked them. He said, no, I'm so accessible. If you could access me, they could access me too. I'm open to every human being. And even he'll allow kids to come and, be close to him. Wow. And he went ahead to also allow even the downtrodden, the handicapped to come close to him, because the blind person, when the blind was calling out to Jesus and the Bartholomew, and he was saying, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me, he was screaming at him. That kind of embarrassed and kind of irritated the disciples. So they went ahead and just tried to shut him down. And Jesus would not have it. Jesus said, no, he's so accessible. I don't care what his status is. I don't care if he's poor or if he's untouchable in the society, or if he's even blind, if he's handicapped, if he's smelling, I don't care. Bring him to me. It's okay. If he has the desire, let him come. So he's so accessible. And the other time when the guy, what was his name? Zacchaeus, also, who went to the tree, who climbed on the tree, wanted to see him. He saw how desperate this guy is, that you are so desperate that and those kind of guys are people that were regarded as a taxpayer or tax collector, that they were the utmost display of corruption. And people that were sinners, they were regarded as high-class sinners those days, corrupt people. How could you, son of God, be seen with a corrupt individual? And he said, no, come with me. I will even go to your house. I will be in your house today. And, that is how accessible Jesus was. He was accessible even to the ladies, because those days, in that culture, you don't touch a lady, and you don't allow a lady to touch you. And especially if the lady had a bad reputation before that. And here was Mary, and, she was so fascinated by him. And she wanted to show appreciation one way or the other. So she took her marriage oil, alabaster oil, and poured it on the head of Jesus, and then she went to the extent of using her hair over her head to clean the body of Christ. That kind of looked too more romantic, So that is allowing not just the hand to touch him, not just for him to her to touch him, but to actually rub her body on the body of Christ was going too much for people. So people could. So this is how accessible Jesus was. So what were you saying?
Wow.
What are we saying?
Wow. 2 Saturdays ago, you actually mentioned something about the fact that if you want to be a great leader, then you have to be ready to let people take advantage of you.
Yes.
Because someone asked that question. So you might want to go back to that video and look at it. Someone asked Pastor a question related to how do you really manage people taking advantage of you in ministry?
Or using you.
Using you. And Pastor was like, if you want to be a leader, you have to be ready to be used. And that's not a conventional answer, I would say.
But that's the whole essence of it. You have to be dead to yourself. You have to forget about yourself if you really want to serve God.
Wow.
Serving God is serving people. There is no service to God without serving to man. There is no loving God without loving man.
Wow.
Loving God is loving man.